welcome back to your Fueling Strategy 3-part series. Today is part 2. Let me know how you got on with part 1. Have you experimented on your pre-run fueling strategy yet? Let me know what foods you're finding working, which ones aren't working. I'd love to hear all about it. Okay, let's dive in to today, where we are chatting about what to eat during your run. And if you skipped over yesterday, if you were already started with your pre-run strategy, then I'd highly recommend you go back and watch the session anyway. But anyway, I'm Gillian. Hello, I'm Coach G. I'm the owner of GMacSpurr Coaching, and I'm here to guide you in creating your fueling strategy. I'm a certified running coach, but also focus on sports nutrition and athlete mindset because, in my opinion, running, nutrition, and mindset, all three need to be considered in order to have your strong triangle of goodness. Because without a fueling strategy, without tools to help with your mindset during your runs, it's going to be challenging to achieve your running goals. So that's why I focus on all three. So a wee reminder of what we are going to be chatting about. We're going to learn about how to listen to the signs your body is giving you, determine what fuel will give you energy to run strong and get the results that you want, and create a fueling strategy that works for you. Some of these we've already covered on the pre-run segment. Some of them we're doing today. So just as a wee reminder, here are some of what your body could be experiencing during your run that tells you that your fueling is off. Now, what you eat before your run should eliminate all of these, but there will be times, or there are times, where we also need to eat throughout our run to ensure that these do not make an appearance. So that is what we're chatting about today. Again, listen to your body. You are unique. Okay, so during a run, fueling only really applies for someone who's running over an hour or approximately 13K. What you've eaten pre-run should have filled up your energy tank for any runs below the time and the distance. And I have that time and the distance. You might be thinking, well, why both? Why not just say an hour or 13K? Because there will be some runners that run a 5K in an hour, and there'll be some runners that run 13K in 50 minutes. So it's a guide, an approximation. Typically, when you've been running for about an hour or about 13K, that's when you'll find that what you ate before your run just isn't quite cutting it anymore. You might start to notice where you are just, your energy is dipping. You might experience some of these midway through your run if it is longer than an hour or 13K and you haven't been fueling. And I'm sure you've heard the term hitting a wall, specifically when talking about a marathon. 9 times out of 10, when a runner hits the wall, it is because they've fueled incorrectly during their run. So we want to be ensuring that we're eating plenty throughout our runs that is giving us the energy that we need, but then it's also not having too much that it then starts swinging the other way and causing us more challenges that we've been trying to eliminate in the first place by fueling. So carbs and water. So similar to what we're talking about pre-run. Similar for water in that we want to have small sips throughout our run. Again, this helps with fatigue and headaches. And again, if you're outside then, or it's hot outside, sorry, you can be outside and it not be hot. But if it's hot or if you're sweating a lot, you can absolutely have an electrolyte as well, whether that is in tab form, powder form, or the likes of coconut water, or what I've been enjoying of late is water with a pinch of Himalayan pink salt and a squeeze of lemon juice, lime juice, and orange juice. Delicious. So yeah, we want to be sipping throughout. And I often get asked, or runners often say that they don't like to take water with them on shorter runs. I recommend to all my athletes, to all my clients, to take water on all runs, whether that's a 2K run, whether that's a 42K run. You never know when you might need just a sip or two of water or an electrolyte. You know, I don't know about you, but the amount of times I've had a bug in my mouth and I need the water just to swirl my mouth, try and get it out, or to swallow some water to help that bug just go down. Ugh. So yeah, I highly recommend, like it's not that big a deal in my opinion to carry a small bottle of water, whether that is a handheld, on a belt, or in a bladder. So I highly recommend taking water on all of your runs. Now for carbs, you've got a few different options. You've got gels, gummies, or whole foods. It is your personal choice. You can go for whatever you want, and you can absolutely go for a combination of all three. So for gels and gummies, my recommendation is to stick to the instructions on the back of the packet. And now typically it will say every 30 to 45 minutes to consume either one gel or a handful of gummies. Certainly, whilst you are creating your during run strategy, I would stick to those timeframes for the gels, for the gummies. Do exactly what it says on the back of the packet. And if you aren't feeling with gels or gummies and instead go down the whole foods route, like applesauce or dried fruit or banana, then again, I'd recommend around about that 30-minute mark or so. But you're really going to be listening to your body. And as I mentioned on the pre-run segment, I highly recommend that you create a nutrition log, a nutrition journal, and log how you feel whilst you've been eating these gels, gummies, or whole foods, because it could become apparent in seeing the data from a bit of a higher level. You might see that actually that 30 minutes, let's say you've been consuming the gels every 30 minutes. Actually, no, scrap that. Let's say you've been eating it every 45 minutes. But you find just before you're about to take your next one, you're starting to get fatigued. Your mindset takes a bit of a nosedive. Your legs start to feel a bit heavier. And then you take the gel and it takes about half an hour for you to start feeling better. That, my friend, is a sign that you need to increase the frequency of when you're consuming your food. So for that example, I would then try rather than every 45 minutes, maybe try every 35 minutes or every 30 minutes. And then see how you feel once you have changed the frequency. Really, we want to be taking in nutrition at least 30 minutes before you need it, to give it time to be able to convert into energy and be usable. So we don't want to be waiting too long to take it, like that example that I said there, the 45 minutes, then you eat, and then it still takes a wee while before you start feeling better. We want to be ensuring that we're eating with that frequency to ensure that we have energy on demand, energy on tap. So it really is, like I mentioned on the pre-run fueling, it really is finding that sweet spot for you. You might like taking a gel every 30 minutes, and that's easy for you to remember because you're not even have to look at your watch as much. You know, every 5K, 10K, 15K, those markers, you need to eat something, great. But whatever works best for you, whether that's time frame related or distance related, stick with that. Even if you don't feel like you need it, as an example, if you're taking it every 5K, maybe the first 5K you're flying, you had such a solid pre-run fuel that you don't feel like you need it at 5K, still take it anyway, because just because you might not feel like your body needs it, your body needs that consistency, and you need to ensure that you are continuing to fuel, because you don't want to wait and then hit that wall because you haven't been fueling at regular intervals. Again, experiment on your shorter long runs. So maybe when you are running, just over the hour, you start playing around with different gels, different gummies, different whole foods. Maybe between the 10K mark and the 15K mark, those are your run distances where you experiment, you try different things. You're logging how you felt after this gel, you're logging how you felt after you had the gummies. Gummies didn't do anything, you're gonna like focus more on the gels. Oh, what flavors were nice, which ones give me GI issues, and really just a process of elimination and work out which is the perfect combination for you. And as I again mentioned in the pre-run segment, once you know what works best for you, lock that in. If you know that having the chocolate pudding goo every 30 minutes gives you the energy that you need to run strong, to feel good, to not have any signs that your body is underfueled, then stick with that. On race day, don't pick up a strawberry flavored oh gosh, my brain's going blank at different brands. Or don't pick up a honey stinger on race day if you've not fueled with that during your training. Stick to the exact brand, stick to the exact flavor. Do not deviate from what you've done in training and that you know works for you. Just, it's not worth the hassle, the potential GI issues, the struggles that you may endure in picking up something else that you're not used to. Stick to tried and true, and then you'll be golden. One thing to know is for most gels and gummies, the recommendation on the back of the packet is to have some water after consuming the product. So that's another argument for taking water or fluids with you, certainly on your run. If you are going down the gels and gummies route, then you will need to have water with you. If you don't want to carry water with you, then there are a few options. You could run a route that has water fountains, just making sure that the water fountains are switched on. Some of them get switched off for winter. Or plan a route that is either circling your house or circling your car, and leave a bottle of water either in your car or in your front garden, your front yard, or just in the front door, so you can easily grab it as you run past. Now, once you've got this fueling strategy, this will work for you up to and including the marathon distance. You don't need to necessarily redo this from going from half marathon to marathon, but you will need to create a new fueling strategy if you're going from marathon to ultra marathon, because the fueling required for an ultra marathon is different for the marathon. And that is primarily down to the fact that ultra marathons, there's a huge difference in time frames, in distances. We've got anything from 50K up to 250 miles. So eating gels and gummies is just not going to cut it for potentially multi-day or through the night events. You'll still need carbs as your main energy source, but yeah, like I said, the gels and gummies, you'll start to get fatigued at the flavor, at the taste. You might start getting GI issues if that's all you're consuming. So adding things in like PB&J sandwiches or fruit or boiled potatoes, power balls, things like that, like real food to help fuel you during those longer distances is absolute key. And that is it. So for during your run, you're eating carbs for if you're running longer than an hour or 13K, and eating every 30 minutes approximately. And we're going to be sipping water throughout as well. And again, fuel and hydrate with what works best for you. Experiment on those shorter runs. Try different brands, different flavors. Go to your local running store or go online. I highly recommend trying as many different things as you can to really find out what works best for you. Like when it comes to gels, there's fruit flavored, there's chocolatey flavored, there's unflavored, There's ones that have chia seeds in them. There's some that have that are maple syrup based. There are some that are whole food based. Like there is such a wide variety that really kind of experiment and try different things, and you'll be able to start quickly ruling out what doesn't work best for you. Like you might find that the gels are too sticky and messy, so you stick with the jelly beans or the gummies or whole foods. Or maybe you don't like the fiddliness of grabbing 5 gummies, so you stick to the gels or the whole foods. Just have a little fun with it. Be curious, experiment, and see what works best for you. As always, if you've got any questions, reply to this email. I'm more than happy to help support you in nailing down your during run fueling strategy. As I mentioned previously, if there's high level questions, then I'll absolutely reply with a high level response within about 48 business hours. If it's a bit more specific or niche, then I'll send you my calendar link and we can take a deeper dive on your specific question and get you the support that you need. So questions are welcome. So we are almost done. We've got one more segment left. We're going to then be focusing on what to eat post-run. Now this is, I would say, the most neglected part of a fueling strategy. I often hear runners finish their run, get in the shower, and then don't eat until potentially hours later when they're starting to feel fatigued or just not feeling themselves, got a bit of brain fog, just lacking in energy. And that is because they have not given their body what it needs post-run to not only top up that energy tank, but aid with recovery. So join me for the final segment in this series of post-run fueling. Chat to you later.